Welcome to the new book releases for the week of February 3rd. Our first week of February brings us an interesting assortment of different genres, with timestamps in between throughout the video so that you can click to whichever one is your favorite. I'm Morgan. If this happens to be your first time here, I hope you enjoy it and find something new to pick up, and I'm sorry for anybody's names that I mispronounce. I haven't said that in a few weeks, and I probably really should have for some of them. Our first genre up this week is going to be fantasy. Now, this first book, though, while it is the first in a new series called The Great Silence, I think it is following his other series. So, it's the same universe, I just bumped everything situation. That is Grave Empire by Richard Swan. And I'm believing that because it says a new age of exploration and innovation has dawned, and the Empire of the Wolf stands to take its place as the foremost power in the known world. Glory and riches await. Not witches. I mean, there might be. I haven't read those books, so I don't know if there's witches. I was going to say more about this one, and I already shortened the description, but I think that next part is a spoiler. In bold, though, it did say, blood once turned the wheels of empire, now it is money. We move on, though, to a conclusion to a series. I think this is book 7. And you might have heard how this author poked for fun at another very prominent author in his dedication of this last book, considering he finished the series and the other one still hasn't. This is going to be Heart of the Mountain by Larry Correia. It's the conclusion to the Saga of the Forgotten Warrior series. What I found very, very interesting is that this is only 352 pages, and it's an epic fantasy conclusion book. For this one, it's what happens after the War of the Gods. The answer lies in the heart of the mountain. The first book in the series is Son of the Black Sword, and it says, after the War of the Gods, the demons were cast out and fell onto the world. Mankind was nearly eradicated by the seemingly unstoppable beasts, until the gods sent the great hero Ramrowan to save them. He united the tribes, gave them magic, and drove the demons into the sea. Ever since, the land has belonged to man, and the oceans have remained an uncrossable hell, leaving the continent of Lok isolated. It was prophesied that someday the demons would return, and only the descendants of Ramrowan would be able to defeat them. This is a series that I really have been wanting to try. So, and now that it's completed, bonus points, especially when I see that page count. Okay, we move from there into our YAs. The first one up is a YA fantasy romance in the vein that, how some of them are. That's The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. This one is also historical. London, 1848. For 400 years, England has been under the control of an immortal Fey queen who tricked her way onto the throne. To maintain an illusion of benevolence, Queen Moore grants each of her subjects one opportunity to bargain for their deepest desire. As Ivy Benton prepares to make her debut, she knows not even a deal with the Queen could fix what has gone wrong. Her family's social standing is in shambles. Her sister is a shadow of her former self, and Ivy's marriage prospects are non-existent. So when the Queen announces a competition for Prince Bram's hand, Ivy is the first to sign her name in blood. What a bargain can't fix, a crown certainly could. This sounds like it, goes in the vein of several others. It's historical, but also, I haven't read all of the selection. I've read the first book and The Trial in the Red Queen and Faye, and something about the prince she's trying to woo's brother. Our other one, though, is it might be fantasy, but it's also a thriller, possibly horror tinged. Needy Little Things by Chanel Desmours. Soraya Lee Bryant can hear what people need, tangible things like a pencil, a hair tie, a phone charger, an ability only her family and her best friend Malcolm know the truth about. But when she fulfills a need for her friend Deja, who vanishes shortly after, Soraya is left wondering if her ability is more a curse than a gift. Not trusting the police and media to do enough on their own, Soraya and her friends work together to figure out what led to Deja's disappearance. And it also says she's trying to work an actual job, because I don't remember what was up with her mom. think she might have just lost her job. And her little brother is very sick and in the hospital and needing treatments, like reoccurring treatments. So she has a lot of pressure on her. We move from there, though, into romance with The Deep End by Allie Hazelwood. Scarlett Vandermeer is swimming upstream, a junior at Stanford and a student athlete who specializes in platform diving. Scarlett prefers to keep her head down, concentrating on getting into med school and on recovering from an injury that almost ended her career. She has no time for relationships, at least that's what she tells herself. Swim captain, world champion, all-around aquatics golden boy, Lucas Blomqvist thrives on discipline. It's how he wins gold medals and breaks records. Complete focus with every stroke. On the surface, Lucas and Scarlett have nothing in common until a well-guarded secret slips out and everything changes. Why would it say they have nothing in common? They have swimming in common. Then we move into the thrillers of the week. Listen to Your Sister by Nina Vale. 25-year-old Calla Williams is struggling since becoming a guardian to her brother Jamie. Calla is overwhelmed and tired of being the one who has to make sacrifices to keep the family together. Jamie, a full of good-natured 16-year-old recklessness, is usually off fighting for what matters to him or getting into mischief, often at the same time. Dre, their brother, promised he would help raise Jamie, but now the ink is dry on the paperwork and in classic middle child fashion, he's off doing his own thing. And through it all, the nightmare never stops haunting Calla, recurring images of her brothers dying that she's powerless to stop due to Jamie's recklessness, trying to do the right thing, mischief. They have to go into hiding because it's something to that serious nature, and they're not alone where they go hiding. And they learn that they should have listened to their sister. Our next one up is A Killing Cold by Kate Alice Marshall. A whirlwind romance. When Theodora Scott met Connor, wealthy, charming, and a member of the powerful Dalton family, she fell in love in an instant. 6 months later, he's brought her to Idlewood, his family's isolated winter retreat, to win over his skeptical relatives. Stay away from Connor Dalton. Theo has tried to ignore the threatening messages on her phone, but she can't ignore the footprints in the snow outside the cabin window or the strange sense of familiarity she has about this place. Then, in a disused cabin, Theo finds something impossible, a photo of herself as a child, a photo taken at Idlewood. I like the sound of that one, and I don't remember if she has missing memories or something from her past. Our final book for the week. I'm not entirely sure about this one, because I tried to look if it was just indie published before, but it seems like it was published through another publishing, but everywhere also is saying that it's coming out this week. But that's The Bones Beneath My Skin by TJ Klune. So maybe it's just now being tried published from its indie published days. Or maybe they're just doing a recovering. Hard to say. There's nothing more human than a broken heart. It takes place in the mid-90s as Nate Cartwright has lost everything. His parents are dead, his only brother wants nothing to do with him, and he's been fired from his job as a journalist in Washington, D.C. With nothing left to lose, he returns to his family's summer cabin outside the small mountain town of Roseland, Oregon, to try and find some sense of direction. But the cabin should be empty, but it's not. And they're after the people there. So, I think it's supposed to be a coming of age and or becoming of self, romance things. Yeah. Government conspiracy, alien hunt things. Those are all the books I have for you on this week's list. If there's any others, though, that you want to let people know about, feel free to drop them in the comments down below. I really hope you were able to find something off this list that you want to pick up, maybe one of the new series to start, or now that you know one's completed, you want to start it too. And also the page count. Come on, that page count. That's unheard of. Okay, if you enjoyed this one though, I would really appreciate it if you give it a like, and if you really, really liked it, check out some of my other videos and subscribe. That way you can come back every week to find out about new books coming out. I hope you're having an excellent day, finding something great to read, and I'll see you in the next one.